on making this available probably on YouTube, and I'll have a link to it on our website in case anyone wants to go back and refer to it or anything. We are going to have a short introduction of the R1, then we will review all the different areas, and we will have questions after each area. Area B, since it has 6 different categories to it, we're going to stop after the first 3 categories, then we will finish the last 3 categories, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kim, and she's going to review Area C and then have questions, and then Area D and then have questions. So the first thing, the activities that are listed on the R1 are sort of activities that you should use as a roadmap for your chapter success. You use it to plan your activities for the year, and in doing so, you earn points for each event and each activity that your chapter does. And this is the points that we use in calculating the Excellent, Superior, and Outstanding Award. And these awards were established by the Recognition Committee years ago, I think 1950, something like that, in order to showcase chapters who really do what an NMA chapter is all about. They do professional development, they do community services and things like that, and by recording points that you get for these activities, your chapter will receive recognition at our annual conference for a job well done. The R1 is divided into 4 major categories. Those categories are administration, which consists of chapter management and your chapter board of directors. Member services has 6 categories. That's the B that I was telling you about a while ago, and it consists of professional development, membership and meetings, communications, member relations, NMA national and area and council activities, and the Certified Manager Program. Area C is Association Growth and Awareness, which is made up of 2 parts, and that is Association Image and Association Development. And the last is Area D, which is Community Services and Management Week in America. Community Services also includes your participation in the speech contest and youth programs and things like that. Right now, we are just going to start reviewing the R1, and those of you who have completed the R1 before, you'll probably see a few little changes on here. Before we start going through each one of the line items, I want to tell you just a few of the things that explain this to you. I know many of you have probably already filled out one of these things, and many of you may have not filled them out. And up at the top, when you submit these each month, and they are due within 30 days of the end of the month that you are reporting. For instance, if you're reporting for January 2014, it's due at the end of February 2014. And Kim is the individual who reviews these, and she is the one who approves them. And all you do is put your chapter name, number, your name, your email address, the month and year that you're reporting, and your administrative year. What we mean by the administrative year is the month your administrative year starts, and that's normally either January or July. That's when most of our chapters' years start. And this particular R1 that we're going over will be effective July the 1st, 2014 for those chapters who have a July administrative year, and for those who have a January through December administrative year, they will start using this form in January of 2014. I've put a few little things on here just to kind of help people navigate. Over on the side, you'll see links to other areas. If you want to go down to community services, just click on the link and it'll take you to community services, because when I was working on this, I decided that, hey, boy, that's a lot of scrolling down to try to find things. And I thought, well, we'll try to make it a little bit easier, which is what we did before this. This didn't happen until after we had the last R1 webinar on March the 6th. So, but it's like sometimes you go in there and use it, and necessity is the mother of invention, I think. So right here in the middle, points needed for awards. There is a formula, and it was developed by Bob Noel, who was formerly one of our He was our chairman of the recognition committee. And because years ago, all chapters, I don't care if you had 10 members or if you had 2,000 members, you had to have the same number of points to earn an excellent, superior, or an outstanding award. And there's just something that I think some of the larger chapters have more resources than some of the smaller ones do. And the recognition committee decided that, hey, it wasn't fair to ask some of these smaller chapters with such small resources to do the same thing that these large chapters did, even though I know large chapters sometimes may have trouble getting people to participate, but they still have more resources available. So he came up with this formula, and we call it the Noel formula for calculating how many points you need to earn an award, the excellent, superior, and outstanding. And in order to find out, all you need to know is what the number of members you have at the beginning of the year, and click on checkpoints needed, and say, let's say you have 153 members at the beginning of the year, and then hit return. And what this does, it calculates the number you would need: 231 points for excellent, 343 for superior, and 455 for outstanding. So we've tried to make it easy for you to know all the time where you stand and how many points you need, because down at the bottom, it calculates all the points that are approved every time you complete the R1. So let's go up to the top. If you are in question about, okay, chapter organization chart, what do I need to do for that? All you have to do is click on A1A and chapter organization chart. During the first administrative month, a chapter should prepare an organization chart depicting the responsibilities among the members and a clear-cut flow of communication with a detailed list of duties. You earn 2 points for preparing this document, and it's a maximum of 2 points per year. Now, to go back to the R1, you just click on that, and then you go down to the next item. And what you do, I will just stop here. Whenever you are reporting, like if your administrative year is January through December, you're reporting for January, you just put like your 2 points right here, and it will calculate everything for you. Now, if you have an administrative year of July through June, all you have to do is go up here and overtype on line 10 here. Just type June, July, August, and as you can see, it changes it throughout the entire spreadsheet. Up here, which is for NMA only, and all the way down through here, it will change everything to June, whatever you type there, like whatever your administrative year is. So everything will be put in the correct position. Okay, the next item on NA administration is officer transitioning. Those of you who have completed this form before know that that used to be the 5-step chapter leader training program. Well, we changed that because we feel like that you need to set up a good program by which you can transition from one office to another. And I know Renee could probably tell us some things about this, because I know she's done things like that in her chapter and was very successful in doing so. And we changed it to officer transitioning, but you can find the 5-step chapter leader program in the President's Guide, and all those guides are online. One of the things that we want you to do is send in your new officers to NMA at the beginning of your administrative year, and Kim will either send the hard copy books to you, or she will email you the electronic copies of all the officer guidebooks, and then you go through those with your new team and try to get your old team with your new team so they can say, hey, this is what I was working on, and this is how you do this. If you have any problems, come and talk to me. And I think an easy transition, if you have a good transition from one administration to another, you're going to ensure that your chapter has another successful year. Now, to go back, we just click on A1B, takes us back, and Advanced Program Plan. You get 2 points for turning in an advanced program plan, which is nothing more than what you plan for all the membership meetings that you have during the year. And we say that a chapter should have 10 meetings a year, but understanding that it's very expensive sometimes to conduct that many meetings, and you don't have to, but you do get 2 points for sending in an advanced or preparing an advanced program plan. And something I might say too, that even though we don't collect all this stuff, we did several years ago, and I thought we were going to have to build on a wing to the headquarters building because we had so many papers and everything, and we're trying to cut down on killing trees and things like that. So we don't ask that you send these things in, but we do reserve the right, like the IRS, if there's some reason that we feel that we need to audit chapters, every so often, we have the right to do that, and I would keep my records just in case, but I don't think you would need them more than a couple of years. Okay, the next one is goals and objectives. I'm not going to flip back to the R1 because these are just in the same order that the R1 is in. And chapters should prepare goals and objectives each year. And it's like, how do you know what you want to achieve if you don't set forth your goals and determine how you're going to get there and make them measurable? A chapter also gets 2 points for preparing a chapter budget. Now, this is something that I know everyone knows. There's no way that you could effectively run a chapter without knowing approximately how much income you're going to have and how much you're going to be spending for some of your different activities and everything. So you get 2 points for preparing a budget. The next item, A1F, is renewals and dues submitted on time. That is a requirement. I'm sorry, but we do like for you to pay your dues on time, and you have 60 days from when they are due to get them paid. Otherwise, they're considered delinquent. And I think we have helped this situation a lot because we send out invoices to chapters every month for their dues. If your membership has changed, we go ahead and make the adjustment when you pay them. We also send out a statement each month so you know where your chapter stands financially as far as your dues go. You're only allowed one late dues payment each year and still be eligible for the awards. Otherwise, you have to contact me. I can talk with the chairman of the recognition committee, who is Laura Spalmer, and the decision will be made, as to like if you had a legitimate reason for this happening. And sometimes there are things that happen that are beyond your control, but this is a requirement that you pay your dues on time. A1G, the 60 days. If your dues are due in January, they would be due by at the end of January, which would be January the 31st. So you would have the end of February, then the end of March. And your January dues need to be paid before the end of March in order for you not to be considered delinquent. The only difference to that is annual chapters, and sometimes they have a difficult time collecting all their dues from everyone because they pay a year in advance. So after the 60 days, if they submit the members that have already paid, they are considered renewing, and at that point will not be considered delinquent. The next thing is new election results sent to NMA. This is what I was talking about a while ago. This is part of your transitioning program, and this is something we need your email addresses and your addresses here at NMA, because otherwise the right officers, the right people will not be receiving the mailings and everything. We like to have as many email addresses as we can for NMA leader briefs and for NMA break time. And we realize sometimes that's very difficult getting all of those, but anyone for whom we have an email address, we will send all that information to them. You get 2 points for that also. Committee meetings, chapters can get 1 point for any kind of committee meeting you have during the the month. It would be, you could have a community services meeting, you could have a professional development committee meeting, you could have a board of directors meeting, and you would get 2 points for whatever type of meeting that you would have during the month. Now, we have something that is totally brand new here. That is A1I. If your R1 is submitted to NMA on time, and Kim will enter this depending on when we receive it, you will get 3 points. And there's a maximum of 36 points that you can get from this. All you have to do is submit your R1 within 30 days of the end of the month that you're reporting. Like if you are reporting, you're sending in your February report. February's report should be to us by the end of March. Now, if something happens something has happened that was beyond your control, you need to give Kim a call or send Kim an email and let her know. This is something that's brand new that the committee implemented at the January board meeting this year. That's good news. You get 3 points for submitting your report on time. Well, you're either going to get 3 points or you're going to get 3 points taken away, because the next item is R1 submitted late to NMA, you lose 3 points. And I know some people can't afford to lose 3 points because those if they send in a late report every month, those minus 36 points could be the difference in getting an outstanding award and not getting one. So this is the good and the bad. And the board of directors are just encouraging everyone to get their reports submitted in a timely manner, because I think the earlier after the activities take place that you report them and you get them recorded, I think they're going to be more accurate, and you're not going to forget as many things as you would if you waited, like say a month or two before sending them in. And I know we've had some chapters that have done an entire R1 and sent it in at the end of the year. And I know in doing that, they would probably forget a lot of things that their chapter had accomplished during the year. And we don't want that to happen, because we are in the business to recognize chapters and members for what they do. And we don't like to penalize them for things like this, but this is just kind of to keep everybody on track with sending in everything on time. The next item, A2A, is chapter board of directors meeting. For each month you have a chapter board of directors meeting, you get 2 points, and that's a maximum of 24 points. And you can see the point value is listed right out next to the activity, and then the maximum is right next to that. There's some of them have no maximums, and I'll show you that in just a moment when we get down to one of them. A2B, National and Associate Director invited to each board meeting. If you invite your national or your associate director to each one of your board meetings, you'll get 1 point, and it's a maximum of 1 point a month. If you submit your director's name to us and where you submit it, just click on there and put your director's name, type it right in here. You submit their name and you can get 1 point for that. And this is an effort to make sure that you know who your national director is, because your national directors are invaluable. They can help you answer any questions that you have about NMA. You can always call us or email us, but your director works hand in hand with you to make sure that you understand, things about the R1 and things about national activities that are going on. So if you don't know who your director is, just email NMA and we can certainly let you know who that individual is. And that's an easy point. Type their name in right there and you get 1 point credit. If you have a meeting for every month, you have a meeting with your executive advisors, you'll receive 1 point and maximum of 12 points a year. If you submit the names of and titles of your executive advisors, just click there. Here's where you submit them and you'll get 2 points. We like to get the names of the executive advisors because occasionally Steve will prepare it's a newsletter for executive advisors and send it out to them and let them know what we are doing on a national level to support our chapters. So this is valuable information for us. If you send your board minutes to your assigned director, you will get 1 point and a maximum of 12 points during the year, so that would be 1 point each month. If your chapter supports a national or an associate director, because we realize that all chapters don't have the funding to support a national director, which requires going to the board meetings, and it's paying their expenses and stuff for that. We realize all chapters can't do that. So you do get credit if you do have an associate director, because the associate directors will get the same mailings and everything that the national directors get. The only difference is they don't travel to the board meetings, and it doesn't really cost them anything. But you can get 2 points, 1 point. Where is it right here? 5 points. It's 5 points for each one you support. If you support a national director and an associate director, you'll get a maximum of 10 points. Now, the next one is something that I guess we will monitor that here. This is another new item. There are director reports that national and associate directors are supposed to send to NMA each month. And if your director submits that report on time, and it's supposed to be submitted by the end of the month following the month that they're reporting, just like the R1 is. And if that national or associate director submits that report on time, you'll get 1 point each month for if you support this national or associate director. So you get a maximum of 12 points for that. So we get those reports here at NMA, so we will know if they are sent in on time. So if you know who your director is, just encourage that director to submit their national director's report, and that's an easy point to get. Just say, hey, did you do your report? Because it's online. All they have to do is log onto our website and they can go fill it out. Okay, I am going to unmute everyone right now and just see if we have any questions. It looks like we've had quite a few people join us since we started this. Okay, do we have any questions about anything under administration?
Yeah, I have a question, Sue.
Okay, Arlene has a question. And when you ask the question, identify yourself so everyone will know who you are.
Okay, this is Arlene Lowe. I'm with Pleasure Island Leadership Association. And my question pertains to your executive advisors. Would that be executives within our company that we use as advisors, or other chapters?
Yes, it's the executive advisors that you have that advises your chapter that you would have a meeting with, and they kind of advise you of what to do. It can be executives in an organization. It can be one and the same people, because some of them have real high-level executive advisors. But it is the executives in your organization that advises your chapter, and you have a meeting with them, I'm sure, occasionally, and they tell you, oh, this is what we would really like to see happening in this chapter. So that's who they are. Does that help?
Yes, it sure does.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
No.
Hi, this is Mike Rodriguez.
Now, I could not have explained that this well. So,
Hi, I have a question. This is Mike Rodriguez.
okay, Mike, your question.
My question is, the Noel formula that you talked about, is that we only have to track the number of, we only have to report the number of members at the beginning of the administrative year. So that means if your membership changes throughout the year, you don't take that, you don't update that.
Do you know, Kim's going to kill me for telling you this, but I'll tell you, if something drastic happens, that you say you have a massive layoff or something like that, we would take that into consideration when it comes time at the end of your year to calculate the points you need for your award. Because if you have, say you have 200 members and 200 or 100 of those, like you lose half of your membership because of layoffs and everything, or some other reason, whatever that might be, we would definitely make an adjustment. And all you'll have to do is call us or let Kim know, and I know she can be soft sometimes.
Okay, so basically, just stick with the number at the beginning of the year, and then call for any adjustments if you need.
That's absolutely
chapter
correct.
needs to discuss.
Yeah, because to me, it would kind of defeat the purpose of doing this on a graduated scale like that. If we were like, if it was just like a hard, oh, we don't care what happens, this is what you have to do. It's not like that. We try to work with you so you will get recognized for the things you do. So that's something that we would definitely take into consideration.
Okay. One other question, just to clarify, for advanced program planning, we planned for 10, even though we only be able to achieve maybe 5 or 4 meetings to attend. We get credit just for planning for 10, whether or not we hold them. Is that correct?
That's correct. If you have a program, an advanced program plan, you get credit for that. But under member services, you get credit, you get points for each meeting you actually have.
Okay, that makes sense. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Going once, twice? Okay.
Yes. In fact, go ahead and use your own login. Because we're
I'm
going
gonna
to
go
track
ahead
our user
and
logins and
everyone.
thingy, and if there's something not right, then we'll have to fix it. But yeah, yep.
Okay, we are muted, and now we are going to go into member services, and member services is the largest area, so we're going to cover 3 things. We're going to cover professional development, membership meetings, and communications, and then we'll open it up for questions again. The first one is authorized to grant CEU. Your chapter needs to be authorized to grant CEU, and you need to submit a B3, which is an authorization to grant CEU form, and it's due at NMA by July the 3rd or January the 31st. Where did I come up with July? January the 31st of each year, and you get 5 points for this. And these points that I'm talking about right here are also points that accumulate to help you earn a professional development award. The next one is, does your chapter prepare a chapter professional development catalog or guide? If you prepare something like that, you get 3 points. For each chapter sponsored NMA Proprietary professional development course that you complete, that could be Facilitators skills, it could be Foundations of Management, it could be there's a list of them on the website. I know I just updated that yesterday. You'll get 5 points for each one of those courses that you complete. Now, if you complete a non-NMA professional development course, you will receive 3 points for each of those courses that you complete. However, in order to get credit for them, for the Professional Development Award, you have to submit a B4 and get them approved for CEU credit through NMA. And there is a place, I will show you where you go to right here. Here's the chapter-sponsored NMA Proprietary courses. This is where you list those. There's a link right on the R1 to link over to the listing. And then the chapter-sponsored non-NMA PD courses, same thing. You click here to link, and right here's where you record them. And we do need the course code on those. And then you get bonus points for professional development courses that were completed in B1C and B1D. And those bonus points are based on how many hours the class was. And you can get 1 to 3 points for each course, depending on the length of the course. B1F is online courses completed. Chapters may receive points for members that take any online professional development courses based on the following schedule, and it's the number of participants. Then courses taken at other chapters. If you go to another chapter and take a course, maybe you don't have anyone who can facilitate a particular course, and you get together with another chapter And these are the points that you would get. The 1 to 5 participants, you would get 1 point, 6 to 10, 2 points. And those of you who cannot see this on the screen, it's actually on the tabs. The B1G tab will take you over to that. At least it should. It does on mine. To see what the criteria is for this and how many points are awarded for each one. There's between 1 and 6 points for each course there. The next, executive management participation. For every time you have executive management participate in a professional development activity, that could be teaching a course, it could be giving awards for certificates for the course, having taken the course, for coaching people for professional development courses. Each time your executives do that, you'll get 4 points, and there's no maximum. As a matter of fact, under the courses B, C, D, E, F, all the way down through B1L, there's no maximum on any of these points that you can get. The next one is B1I, members that take IQ Share, BTE, or MindEdge courses. You get 1 point for each course that is taken. And these are partners that we have. I know IQ Share has office courses. They also have some PMP training. And MindEdge, we have all the information on those on our website. And if you take advantage of some of our partnerships we have, you get 1 point for each course. Then we do give bonus points for the number of participants completing each one of those, either IQ Share, BTE, or MindEdge courses. Now, B1K, all the stuff that we looked at above B1K will count toward your professional development award. However, we've had some chapters that were having problems just kind of keeping things together, and they wanted to hold some courses at noon, but they were not even trying for a professional development award, but they wanted to get R1 points for the courses that they were doing, even though they didn't care about getting a professional development award. So the recognition committee decided to put a line item that we would give R1 points for non-CEU approved courses, and you can get as many, that's unlimited as to how many you can get for that. As a matter of fact, Kim and I were talking this morning. I had someone contact me and want to know if she needed to take roll, of everyone who was going to be participating in the webinar. And she wanted to know, if they got points. And I told Kim that, hey, since this doesn't give any CEU, you cannot get CEU for taking courses on like how to do your job in the chapter and things like that. But this is a course in the sense that it is teaching you about the R1, and we will give you 3 points for this webinar for your chapter. I told Steve, I said, they need it just for putting up with me for that long. So we'll reward you with points, and then you'll get bonus points for, and that's in B1L, for the number of people that you have that are completing it. So if those of you who may have people in a conference room or something, just let us know how many there are. Well, you just put them down. You can list them right here, non-approved CEU courses, put down the webinar, and that was 1.5 hours. And then you go back, and here is the bonus for the number of people that completed. So you will get rewarded in one way or another for sitting through this webinar. Okay, the next one is monthly membership meetings. And Mike, you had asked about if you planned 10 meetings and you didn't do all 10 meetings, did you still get credit for them? Well, you do get credit for them, but not up under, you just get credit for preparing the plan and knowing what you're going to do. And if some of them fall through, there's nothing you can do about that, but you do get 5 points for each meeting that you hold during the year. And meetings that feature personal and professional.
This is Tim Engel. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
Are you still on track to join us here at yes.
Oh, he's talking to someone else. I just muted somebody. I don't know. I think someone didn't know that they were on mute. I thought I was talking. Am I going to join? No. Okay. Monthly membership meetings. That was one thing Mike had asked about earlier. And you do get 5 points for each monthly membership meeting. In meetings that feature personal or professional growth, you get an extra point for that. And I would venture to say that most meetings that a chapter would have, whether it be a social environment, I guess I would consider that personal growth, and professional growth. I think most of the meetings that you would have would be some type of personal or professional growth. Meeting attendance bonus points. You get bonus points for meetings that you have, excuse me, and it's like based on the percentage of people who attend, and members and potential members can be counted in the figure that you give us as far as your attendance. And like 45% and up, you get 5 points, and then it's on a graduated scale down from there. Then we have, those of you who have done this before know that we used to have an item here called Top Management Night. Well, the recognition committee decided that instead of having top management night, we needed a top management event. So now chapters may earn 3 points for featuring or honoring senior leaders at a monthly membership meeting. So that has changed, because it used to be you had to have invite your top management, let them speak to the meeting and everything. But now if you honor them or feature them, either one, you can get 3 points, and that's one time a year. Eligible employees reported, you get 1 point for each month that you report your eligible employees, up to a maximum of 12 points. Now, here's where you report them. We didn't have a place to put that before. You had to put it, we had it connected with B2A, but we have changed that. You will earn 1 point each time the number of employees eligible for NMA membership is reported to us. Well, we realize that you don't always know how many eligible employees you have, especially if you work for a large facility. How many people are eligible to join NMA that you have that are not NMA members. But all we ask is just an educated guess. If you can tell us approximately what you think the number is, you will get a point for that each month. Okay, the next category is communications. Your chapter will receive 5 points for preparing a chapter guide. And excuse me, I don't know how elaborate your chapter guides are, but some chapters will list courses that they're going to do. They will have like their programs that they're going to have during the year, and highlight who their officers are and have their pictures and everything in it. It's pretty much up to you what is going to be most valuable to your members as far as a chapter guide, and how much you want to let them, how much information you want to give them. For B3B, every newsletter that is published during the year, you'll get 5 points for each one. This can be an e-newsletter or it can be hard copy, either one. Because now for the publications contest, we want PDF files for all of those. A lot of chapters have gone to e-newsletters. They're a lot more cost effective than trying to prepare hard copies. So you do get credit for both of them. We used to have B3C split. It was 1 for publishing the Code of Ethics, 1 point for Statement of Principles in the newsletter, and it was 2 separate items. But we combined that together. That was done in January also. And if you publish the Code of Ethics and Statement of Principles in your newsletter, you do that. And if you do a newsletter every month, you can get as many as 24 points. And there are some chapters that do a regular newsletter, and then they do like an e-newsletter. And I think, I may be wrong, I think we have someone on here from Fort Worth, but I think they do 2 separate newsletters like that. And I think there's a chapter down in Raleigh, North Carolina that does the same thing. So if you had you could get 24 points, accumulation of the 2 types of newsletters that you publish. If you enter the publications contest, you get 25 points. That's pretty good, I think. We are encouraging participation in this program. And by the way, for those of you who are not aware of it, the publications are due at NMA by May the 1st for the publications contest. If you send out professional development course notices, you get 1 point for every time you do that. That could be an email to your chapter members. It could be a flyer. But anytime you prepare a professional development course notice, you'll get 1 point. And it's unlimited as to how many you can get. If you prepare a monthly meeting notice, you can get 1 point for that, up to a maximum of 12 points a year. If you establish or redesign a chapter website, you will receive 10 points. And for those of you who have done things like that, no, it's really worth a lot more than that. So that may be something that we need to petition the recognition committee and say, hey, let's kind of up the ante a little bit on this, because I know how much time it takes to do that. If you establish a link with the national website, all you got to do is put a link to our website on yours and send me a note so I can list yours on our website, and you'll get 1 point. Now that's the easy part. If you submit an article for NMA Break Time, you can get 2 points for each article you submit, up to 12 points, because we publish Break Time 6 times a year. And to be honest about it, I would love to have some articles from people highlighting someone in your chapter who has done something really nice for your chapter or for the community or something like that. I would love to do like a member spotlight. And if any of you have anything like that, send me a picture and send me an article, and I would love to put that in NMA Break Time. Or if there's some special event that you have had. I know Pleasure Island has sent us things that they have done, and Lockheed Martin and Marietta, they're very good about sending in things that their chapter does, very worthwhile things during the month. If you submit information to us about ex-members, if you submit it like their name and their email address with their permission, you'll receive 1 point for each one of those that you send. Steve is sticking his head in the door here, so he may want to come and say hi to everyone.
Whoops. Well, let's see. Hello, there we go. Now, I don't have a camera. We could do a selfie here.
Yeah.
But I thought I would say hi to everybody. We've been so pleased with how many of you are participating in this workshop and the one a couple of weeks ago. And we'll do more of these if they help you. So I know Sue and Kim will do a wonderful job. And I just wanted to say hello and wish everybody a good weekend coming up. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Thank you, Steve. Unfortunately, everyone's muted right now, and you can't say anything to him. At least he can't hear you if you do. Thanks, Steve. Okay, where were we? Let's see. Oh, submitting information about ex-members. If you submit, like if some of your members leave the chapter for whatever reason and say you're friends with them, if you send in information like their home email address or something like that to us so that we can, invite them to become an individual member, you'll get 1 point for each person that you do that for. And it is with it. So we don't violate any privacy or anything. It would have to be with their permission. Members that post on NMA's Facebook, LinkedIn, or blog will get 1 point, up to a maximum of 12 points a year. And you probably wonder what this miscellaneous points is. Occasionally, I don't know, those of you who were around 2 or 3 years ago, we were asking chapters to send us what their forecasted membership as of the end of the year would be. And chapters who did that would receive 100 points. And it was like, put an item on, take it off. And there are other things that the recognition committee, like, say if we do a survey and we want to reward you for doing that, all we would have to do is go change that miscellaneous to, survey. You sent in the answer to the survey that we sent out and how many ever points they would assign to it at that point. We can change it, and that's just kind of a placeholder for things that the recognition committee wants to use for just a one-time thing during a one-year time frame. Okay, I'm going to unmute everyone, and we're going to see if we have some questions again. Okay, do we have any questions?
Hi, this is Justina.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, some of the items have, like the point range, instead of a set. So how do you know, like, how much point this actually is?
Like, which particular item are you talking about?
Okay, so for example, in B2 membership meetings, B2C, the point range is from 1 to 5.
Right. You click on the B2 right next to it, and it gives you the list of what the point range is. All you have to do on the R1 is click on item, and whatever item it is, you just click this on, and this gives you the description and how many points. And if it's a range of points, it will list the entire range of points.
Great, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions from anyone?
Baltimore has a question.
Yes, Baltimore.
Hey, Sue, this is Judd.
Hi, Judd.
Yeah, first
How are
of all,
you?
Good. You're doing a great job, but I'm not sure 5 or 10 points is worth it to listen to you for this long.
I totally agree with that.
Hey, I do have a question on the CEUs. Is that a one-time submission, or do we need to submit that request for CEUs each to be authorized to issue CEUs? Is that a one-time shot, or do we have to do it every year?
You have to do it every year. If you click on the link for the description, it has your chapter should be authorized to grant CEU to ensure that your chapter members receive the appropriate credit for each course completed. B3 authorization to grant CEU form is due at NMA no later than January 31st of each year. Yeah, if you click on the B1A, it will take you right to the R1 criteria for it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Was that helpful?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
This is Mike. I have a question concerning featuring and honoring your leaders. Now, does that mean that they have to be in the audience, or what exactly do you mean by featuring and honoring the leader, the senior leader?
Well, I'll tell you, the way I would answer that is I don't think that it was specifically spelled out. I think the intent was to have someone there to honor them or feature them as a speaker, but it doesn't specifically say that. So I could not say, if someone wanted to argue the point, I'm thinking I will take that back to the recognition committee and say, hey, maybe we need to clear that, make this a little bit clearer. Is that what the intent is, or do they have to be there? But right now, the way it reads, I would say that it would be, if you had a presentation on a leader or something, here I go talking with my hands. If you had a presentation on one of your leaders or your executives, that you should be able to get credit for it. But this used to be the top management night, where top management would usually come and speak to the chapter. And there were some chapters that didn't necessarily have their top management come and speak, but they would introduce them to everyone and they would feature them at the meeting. And I think that is what the intent was. However, like I said, I will take this back to the recognition committee, but that's the way that I would say that we would have to do it right now.
Yeah, to have this is Glenn Button.
Yes,
from Boeing in Southern California.
Yes.
And to have a top leader night, which we are hosting in June of this year, might deserve more credit than just an event.
Yes, this was just changed. I agree with you. This just changed in January. And I'll tell you, you might want to, Glenn, I know we have, I think Bob Noel's on our committee, so you might say something to Bob about, you know, talking to the recognition committee about that. And that's something that was just changed, you know, in January. So I totally agree with you. And I know you guys usually have a really big event, and it is a top management night. Am I correct?
We are having a chief executive officer of our defense, space, and security business speak at our June event.
Oh, that's going to be a nice event. But right now, though, in June, you're still under the old one, okay? You will be till the end of the year, because I think you're on a January through December administrative year. And
yes, that's correct.
You will still be under the top management night instead of an event. It won't be an event till next year. I hope that was helpful, but I do think that may be something that you may want to consider having Bob Noel take it back to the committee. And I will talk to Laura about it too, about clarification for it.
Thank you.
Was that helpful? Or did I go around in a circle?
No, that was perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
Yeah,
this is Mike again.
Okay.
This is Mike again. My administrative year ends in June and starts in July.
Uh-huh.
So I don't see still under the old one until the end of June, correct?
Right, and then you would start using this one. And then all you have to do is, since you're on a June,
we're on the July.
I mean, well, it's July through June. All you have to do is like overtype all of these months on line 10, and you start using this effective July the 1st.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, this is Greg. I have a quick question.
Yes.
We have an astronaut coming to our meeting who's a vice president. Do we get extra points for that?
He is what? What did you say?
If we have an astronaut who's going to be speaking at one of our meetings, do we get extra points?
Right now, I don't know of any place that you would get extra points. I would think that would be worthy of some extra points, but I don't, as far as because you're having an astronaut come, no, you would not be getting any extra points for it, unless if you were going to have like your top management there and everything, which I would assume with having an astronaut there, you may have some of your top management there. You could possibly claim it as a top management event. And now, you said this is in July?
No, he's coming next week, but he's an executive too.
Oh, okay.
So if by top management, so if your CEO comes and does a meeting, do you get extra? Is that considered different?
That is what the top management event is about, is the 3 points for the top management event. But you still would get the points for the monthly membership meeting and for the meetings featuring personal and professional growth. And if this individual is an executive, I would definitely take the points for B2D, B2A, and B2B. I mean, we would not say, hey, you can't have them, because to me, I think that's very, very worthy of the points. And I'm sure it's very difficult to get someone like that to come and speak at one of your meetings, too.
Well, you've also got B1H, don't you?
B1H, executive minute. Yes, you get points there also. See, there are some things in here, if you look through it, I haven't necessarily tied all of them together for you, but there are several things that you can get credit in a couple of different areas for the same, for the same thing. I know one of them is one, I think it's some of the courses, but I think that's on further down where you also get credit for it, someplace else, but we'll go over that in a minute.
Oh, this is mine. No, I'm wrong. You're right. B1H would only apply if they were teaching the course instead of attending the meeting. So that would
executive management participation applies
In professional development, yes.
Yeah, if they are like, maybe they would be at a meeting to hand out certificates, to recognize people that would be taking courses and things. This would be one way that you could count that at a meeting, and you would get double, you would get credit for it because they were at the meeting doing that, but you got it under professional development toward the professional development award because that's what the function was that they were doing.
And I'm over on time.
Is that helpful?
So, and I got a long weekend, so I'll see you Monday, and I'll start back up on.
There'll
be plenty of them.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Good. All right.
I have a question also, Sue.
Okay.
Where should the foundations of management go? Does that go under the CM or does it go
that goes under proprietary courses of NMA. NMA proprietary courses, B1C, which is 5 points.
Okay. And that's 5 points for number of participants or per class?
The 5 points is per class, and then you get bonus points under B1E for the number of participants.
Oh, I see. Okay, great, thank you.
Well, wait a minute. Bonus point. No, I think this is for the number. No, this is for the number of hours that your class is. Then, let's see, online courses, where it looks like we may not even give bonus points for the number of participants for those two, but you do get bonus points for the number of hours.
Well, you have it under B1L.
I'm sorry, bonus points for number of participants, is that what you said?
B1L is for participants completing under B1K, which is non-approved CEU courses.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions that we need to get answered before we finish up the second half of B here? Okay, well, we will have other opportunities for questions, so I'm going to mute everyone right now, and we're going to start with B4. Okay, B4 is member relations. If your chapter conducts a member relations or booster training program or whatever you call the people that you have going out and like recruiting your members and everything, you should conduct a comprehensive training program in the skills of communications, chapter organization, and activities for the member relations representatives or boosters. And this is something I want to ask everyone whenever I open it up for questions, is if you still call your member relations representatives boosters, or what you call them, because it may need to, that it could be that we may need to change this. Your chapter can earn 3 points for each member relation training program conducted during the administrative year. Member relations booster newsletters, if you send out a member relations specific newsletter, and it can't be the same thing as the regular chapter newsletter, you will get 3 points for each one of these that you prepare, and there's a maximum of 12 points a year, so you get credit for 4 of those during the year. And if you conduct a membership promotion campaign, and it must be at least 30 days, consecutive days during the year, you will earn 5 points, and you have a maximum of 10 points a year. You can do that 2 times a year and get credit for it. B4D, you should hold a new member orientation within 90 days of a person becoming a member. If you have between 8 and 10 new members at a time, you can do a group orientation. Otherwise, you can do individual orientations, and you get 2 points for conducting one of those, each one that you conduct, and there's no maximum for that during the year. Other member relations activities, you will get 2 points for any other activities you do. One of them is making presentations to new hires, and I know this is something that is big at Lockheed because we have several chapters, I know, in aeronautics that they're part of their presentation to all their new hires includes a presentation on the benefits of joining an NMA chapter, their chapter there. So that may be something that that you may want to try when people are hired at your organization. The next B4F is brand new. It is called Member Engagement Program, and chapters will be rewarded 5 points for conducting a specific program that reaches out to new members and potential members in order to provide opportunities for them to network, learn, feel a part of the chapter, and it's a program above and beyond regular chapter meetings and other activities. I could see this as a program developed by your member relations committee and having your member relations members or boosters, if that's what you call them, actually doing this program. And if you do that one time, you get 5 points, but there's no maximum on how many times that you can conduct a program for people like that. Okay, now we're going to B5A. If you participate in an NMA Leadership Development Conference, you get 1 point for each individual from your chapter that participates. If you participate in the NMA Annual Conference, you get 3 points for each individual that participates. And if you sponsor an event at our annual conference, you get 5 points for each event that is sponsored. Those events could be the Member of the Year banquet, it could be the Executive of the Year banquet, it could be the Hall of Fame luncheon, it could be a McFeely, it could be one of the educational sessions, and the prices are different on each one of them for sponsorship. And we also list, and I will be preparing that information probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks about our conference in Miami, so you can see exactly what opportunities you have to sponsor a function at the conference. And you also get recognition for it. So it's something you might want to keep in mind. It's something you might want to do, with your chapter. If you make any donations to the silent auction or contributions to the speech contest of $75 or more, you get 5 points for each one of those items or for each contribution to the speech contest. We have online a speech contest donor program that was developed by our 2013 chairman of the board, Steve Minke, and we raised a lot of money for the speech contest via that program. It was excellent, and you get a plaque depending on the level that you, and what the plaque says depends on the level that you contribute at. But if you want information about it, go to our website, and it's a very worthwhile program, and the money that you would donate is tax deductible. If you participate in any other local NMA activity, you'll get 1 point for each time you do that, up to a maximum of 12 points per year. That could be a couple of chapters getting together and conducting a professional development course together. It could be something such as a couple of chapters having a joint meeting, but for each time you do something like that, you get 5 points. If you participate in any regular council meeting, you get 5 points per meeting, and a total of 20 points per year is the maximum. You get credit for up to 4 meetings. If your national director that is supported by your chapter attends a National Board of Directors meeting, your chapter will receive 2 points, and there's a maximum of 12 points. The reason is it could be a associate director or a national director, although associate directors are normally not financially sponsored by the chapter, but they are sponsored. But if they happen to go to the annual conference, and we do have a board of directors meeting there, and your associate director attended that meeting, it would definitely count, and you would get 2 points for each one that attended that meeting. B6, Certified Manager Program. If your chapter has a CM certification chairman. In other words, someone that is in charge of putting together a certified manager program and preparing people to take the CM exam, you will get 2 points. In most chapters, unless it's a huge chapter, that individual is normally a lot of chapters have the professional development chairman wear 2 hats, and that individual will be in charge of the CM certification program too. And if you have one of those individuals, you get 2 points. And if you have members taking the certified manager exam, and that means all 3 parts of it, and it doesn't have anything to do with foundations of management. There are 3 parts of the exam right now, and any individuals who sit for that exam, all 3 parts will receive 3 points for each individual that sits for that exam, for all 3 parts of it. If you conduct a certified manager informational meeting, maybe you just have a few people together to explain the certified manager program to them, you get 1 point up to a maximum of 3 points a year. If you conduct a certified manager workshop, and a workshop, I guess, would be structured, have your materials go through with them and everything, you'll get 3 points for that for each workshop that's held, and there's no maximum on that. And if you put a certified manager program article in your chapter newsletter, you get 3 points for that, and it's a maximum of 3 points. Now, I just want to add that you need, I think it's 5 points in under B6, the Certified Manager Program, to qualify for the Professional Development Award. And I do have a link on this that will take you to the criteria for the Professional Development Award and the Community Services Award. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions again. Okay, does anyone have any questions about anything in 4, 5, or 6? Any questions?
Would you go over B4E again?
B4E, other member relations activity. Yes, if you do any other member relations activity besides what is listed above, and that could be something such as having an onboarding session with all your new hires at your company or your organization and explain to the new hires the benefits of NMA. You get 2 points for each time you do that, and there's no maximum.
Okay. I was kind of wondering for the community chapters, community chapters, new hires. Community chapters, I guess if you went and talked to, Rotarians and told them, hey, come join us, I guess 42 points there.
Exactly. And you know what you could also...
So it's a recruiting award, right?
Yes. And do you know what you could probably do in a community chapter? And I realize community chapters face some challenges that company chapters don't have. And if you did that in a community chapter, probably what you could do is assign different individuals from the different companies that belong to your chapter and have them do it in their individual companies and just report it to you, and then you report it and you will get credit for it.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions about any B4, B5, or B6 items? I take that as a no. What I'm going to do, I'm going to mute everyone, and I'm going to turn this over to Kim. All I have to do is give her the mouse thing right now in just a second, and Kim will take over.
Okay, I would say.
Me.
You are unmuted.
Thank you, Sue.
Just a second. Let me give you
the mouse.
Yes. Give you control. There you go. You should have it.
I think I do. Okay, I'm going to try to scroll here, and it won't scroll.
It just takes a second.
Oh, okay. Scroll. Okay, our next section is Section C, Association Growth and Awareness. The first part of that would be C1, Association Development. C1A provides points for those who provide qualified leads to NMA, or one of the staff here that's a qualified lead of another company or organization that might be interested in joining NMA or having an NMA chapter. If you hold a workshop or seminar for the other eligible organizations you will join, or earn 1 point. Any new chapter development promotional activities will earn you 3 points. That's a good one. I think the workshops will earn 5 points. I'm sorry, I think I said 1. The next line item is a steering committee meeting. Anyone that has a meeting with this other prospect will earn 5 points. If you discuss the new chapter kit with this new prospect, you will get 5 points. If you take your local director and have a meeting with the prospect, you will get 5 points. If this person or prospect would charter and form, you will get 100 points for being involved in that. And then the next section of C1 will deal with the chapter growth. The first one is your annual it's quarterly chapter internal growth. What we use here, or I use, is your membership reports that are sent out every month from us. And if every quarter you have more members than was reported the quarter before, you gain 3 points. C1I is annual internal growth bonus points. If you have more members at the end, you will get more points at the end of the year, of your reported year. Each time you report new members, you get a point for each member. If you should take your chapter from one size group to the next and hold that till the end of the year, you will get 100 points. If your chapter recruits individual or spousal members, you will get a point for each one of those people. Those are pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Now we'll move on to association image, which is C2. One of the general objectives of NMA's Vision Mission Program addresses association image. C2A gives 3 points for press coverage promoting NMA. C2B, if your chapter presents a silver night, you get 10 points for doing that. C2C is if your chapter would present other chapter awards, any awards. I believe there is 1 point, and there's a maximum of 4 points per year on that one. If your chapter nominates an Executive of the Year, Hall of Fame, Member of the Year, these are national Member of the Years, or submits a Gold Knight to your council, you will get 10 points. If you do all 4 of them, you get 40 points. That's a lot of points. And it's so easy to nominate someone. All chapters know people that will qualify in these areas. You get bonus points if your nominee wins. So don't forget to take that 5 points. You get I think the maximum here is 20 points just in case everyone you nominated wins. If you submit the name of your local chapter member of the year to NMA, you will get 3 points. And I think, Sue, can I click on that? Yes, good, yay. I think there are bonus points if you give us their name and a picture, yes, so that we can have an article in our newsletter about your member of the year. Okay, we're going to move on to community activities and services. Community service activities are varied and play a very important role. I want to go back to the R1, sorry. I'm not used to operating your click. There we go. Thank you. Okay. This is where your chapter earns points for all of their community services. D1A, if your chapter has a speech contest, you will earn your chapter 50 points, and it's well worth it. If you sponsor or co-sponsor a youth program, you earn 3 points. If your chapter develops and organizes a specific community event, which you will click and list that event, you will get 10 points for doing that. There is no maximum on developing and organizing community events. If members of your chapter participate in community activities, you will click and list the activity and the member that participated, and you will get a point for each person that did that. If you have community activity gets news coverage, you will get a point for each news coverage you get. No max on that. And that will bring it in to that piece of community services. The next is D2, Management Week in America. Management Week in America is generally the first full week in June. And D2A is just participating in a Management Week in America event. If your chapter gets a Management Week in America proclamation or resolution, you will get 3 points for that. There is no max, and those are not easy to get, but they're important. You will get bonus points for your proclamation or resolution. D2D, if you present the local manager or leader of the year award, you will get 3 points. You will also get points in presented other chapter awards there, so don't forget to double take there. The last and final way to get a point is having news articles about your Management Week in Management Week in America event. Excuse me. And that concludes D2. Sue, would you like to take it back?
And we will ask for questions now. Just a minute. Okay, does anyone have any questions about Area C or Area D? There is some.
In Area D?
Yes.
In Area D for the community service, I had some people report to me like that they run, what do they call it? They run activity.
We had to get 2 doctors on, and I was calling down here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm listening.
Okay, because it gets a bit confusing when everybody else is talking.
I know.
Like they participated in a Destination Imagination program, and they're helping run it. Does that count?
Yes, I would think it would count. As a matter of fact, we have like on, let's see, on D1B, now there's some of these that have suggestions for things that you can do. And I know our community services guide has some suggestions for things that you can do. And you can get credit for participating under D1D for those people who are participating in that program.
Okay, because I had some of them say like they participated in Big Brothers Big Sisters. Another person did a lecture at the chambers.
Yes.
I just didn't know what to count.
Yes, you can count things like that, and also under the programs, there is a list of some things here that you can, all you have to do is click on the D1B, and it gives some suggestions for things like a leadership essay contest, Pride in America art contest, career counseling, project business, junior achievement, adopt a school, and things. Those are just some suggestions that some other chapters do for like the youth programs. But anything that your chapter participates in, community, like a community activity, D1D,
okay,
where you would list that. And right here, look at all these things that are defined as such. You know, it's like different, like you may have people who participate in these things that are in D1, D1C, like the drug awareness program, just say no blood-mobile drive and all this stuff. Your chapter may not necessarily coordinated and actually put it together and everything, but if you have people that participate in it, you get points under D1D for that.
Okay, and then you just fill them in on that little chart. Is that what?
Yes.
Because I know we hadn't been filling in the chart.
Let's see. Yes, participate.
The chart that was linked to.
Yes,
Yes, we hadn't been filling that in because I didn't.
Yeah.
I was new and I didn't know.
That's okay.
So we're trying to go back and fill it in.
No, but that's where you list the event, the date of it,
okay,
and the participants that you had, and you get. It says if one or more of your chapter members participate in a civic or youth activity, that covers all three of them. Promoted by your chapter, 1 point will be awarded per participant per event. So if you had 10 people that participated in the, I'll say, Big Brothers Big Sisters, you would get 10 points for that.
Okay. What I did is on the one, because I had to go back, because I didn't know until last month when I submitted it, you would send a note back saying, hey, you need to fill this out. So I went back for the year and started filling them in. So I might have had the month and the year and not the exact date. So I've got it in there, but I may not have the exact day it was on, but I have the month and the year.
That's not a problem.
That's fun.
Okay. Yeah, you should see me going back trying to, thank goodness for newsletters, because a lot of our events were in the newsletter.
See, that's what I was talking about. You know, if you do these in a timely manner, which that was not necessarily the case with this, though. If you do your R1s and get them submitted in a timely manner, you remember all these things, and you're lucky that, you know, that you have a record of it, like in your newsletter, which that's a good place to publicize things too. But no, that is not a problem. You can go back and you can get credit for those, and you should, because we want everyone to get credit for all the activities that they do.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions?
Yeah, this is Mike.
Yes, Mike.
So then we can submit the report, but then we can still correct it, even though it's, you know, it was like a November report.
Yes.
All right. Thank
you can. Yeah, because if
Just
something.
get them in on time.
Yeah, as long as you get it in on time, you can go back and make corrections or whatever, and Kim will work with you on that. She's just glad to get them on time.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? No more questions?
So we have everyone perfect with the R1. Yay!
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to close the R1 right now if there's no other questions on it. And we will close this out. We got finished a little bit early. One more time, are there any last questions anyone has?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you. Please.
So I'll report my engagement in this, and we'll get credit for it on the R1 report.
Absolutely.
Next month.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard earlier.
Congrats.
I figure you deserve that. And like Judd said, you know, it wasn't even worth the price to put up with me. So, but I really appreciate everyone attending this. And the backup for this is our recognition and awards guide, and I have updated that to correspond with this new R1, and you can download that from our website right now, and I have a link here for it, and I think it'll work if I think I can download it here just to show you, but the 2014 is available for everyone. And if there's any questions that you have, by all means,
just email or call.
Yeah, just email Kim, give her a call, or, you know, you can, if she's not here, I can usually answer any questions that you have. And I just wish everyone a successful year, because we want to see as many people recognized for everything they do when it comes time for the annual conference. And I'm hoping that a lot of you will be attending our leadership development conferences, our East in Greenville, South Carolina this year, and that is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful town. And we will be at the Hyatt Regency right downtown in Greenville. And then the West LDC will take place at the Westin Houston in Memorial City outside of Houston, and it too is a beautiful area. And we've got good room rates and everything, and we encourage you to go back and see if you can afford to send some people, because I guarantee you will get to network with other people, and there are other people that can help answer a lot of your questions, and I think you would really enjoy it, and it kind of rejuvenates everyone. So if there are no other questions, I will say goodbye, and I appreciate you attending this, and we hope to see you at the LDCs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bill. Bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.